this computer. Okay, now tell me. First thing, we usually always follow this thing that whenever you will come to the next session, you can ask me anything about the previous sessions. Not only previous session, all the previous sessions. If you have any doubt, you can ask. So tell me if anybody have any doubt regarding the previous session. We talk about the class, we talk about the object, we talk about the properties, and we also talk about the two properties, like what is static properties and what is non-static properties. So anybody have any doubt, you can ask me, then we'll proceed.
Yes, I have a question not related to these topics, but during the installation, because I have been installed the latest version of Eclipse. It's 2.21.12. So
Okay.
during the time when I going to create the Java project, if in that way they prompt a message or a window like you have to create a module. So what's the use of that and how it's useful in the
No, no, come again. You are saying that what is that? What is the point there?
when I'm creating the Java project, so at the end of when I'm click on the finish, then it will create a it will prompt a message. You have to create module info.java. So uh, by default I check that it's not required and move forward, but it's calling me to pick that. So what's the reason behind that and how it will be useful for that?
Okay, I don't know if it has prompt you to for a module or it has prompt you for the view like this one. What happens that you will see here. Are you able to see this one? If I click on this one, so there are tabs like if you are working on a Java enterprise application, right? So for different type of application, like you have different type of views. If you are able to see this one, this is Java enterprise. Okay. And if you are working on a normal core Java application like desktop application, you are developing some code, you can click on this view. So according to that view, it provides you some option. Okay, so if you are getting this thing, this is, I understand, but if you are saying that some module like that, so you can do one thing, just ping me your version of Eclipse. I will check that what was that module.
I'm sharing a screenshot of that, so you can.
Okay, you can share me the screenshot. Okay, you share me the screenshot.
So
Yeah,
shall I share in the WhatsApp group or?
yeah, you can share me on the WhatsApp group. Everybody will see. Okay, okay, not able to connect. Pahlavut, you have joined. No, 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 let me know. Everybody is allowed here.
So I shared in the WhatsApp group. You can.
I joined.
Okay, okay, great, great. Okay, create module inner configure, discard module name by convention module name. Okay, I got it. I got it. What is saying that it is, I think it is coming in the latest version, of this Eclipse. Actually, the use of that whenever you create any file, okay, you will see whenever you create any file, what happens? Basically, it creates some comments for you, like who is the creator of file. It creates some comment. Okay, so it is actually what happens that whatever user you have logged in, on the basis of that user, it captures the information of that user and just will write something like this file is created by. Are you getting my point? So it is actually capturing that information, I think, and I will check it on your version also, because usually do not prompt this thing that you want to put some module info here. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting what you're saying because as per you, it's storing the
It is just
information
a
of the user who
project.
is logging.
It is only storing the, I think it is storing the information that for which purpose you are going to create this project, right?
Okay.
That's why it is saying the module info. Module info means indirectly it is saying that for which purpose. Suppose you are creating a project for your developments, you are creating a project for testing, or you are creating a project for some other purpose, you can put some information there, right? It is something like that. Whenever any project is created in the in your you can say team, usually your manager or technical lead start with a file that is called readme. They put some information related to the project, right? So
Okay.
it is the same thing as there, I think. Okay, but because I have not worked on the latest version, I will check what is exactly that is. But according to the prompt, what I'm able to see, that it is saying that it is going to put some information only, right? So it is going
Yes.
to create some information in your Java file. So I will confirm, but for the time being, I can understand that it is asking some information. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
because I will see the exact thing and then you can say come back to you and I will put it in the WhatsApp group. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Okay. So now, anybody else want to ask anything? No? Good. So last time we discussed about these things. Now I have to cover one thing where we have left, that we have to cover the final parts. Okay. So what happens that, suppose take the example in the student class, I have created the property student roll number, then we have a student name, and then we have a school name. So we have seen that what is the impact when we are going to define this property static. It will be shared. It will be shared. Now what happens that if I will mark it final. So when I mark it final, just you will see, when I mark it final, it start giving error. What is the error? Anybody can read the error for me? The blank final field. Yeah, anybody can read the error for me? It will be good if you read.
The blank final field student school name may not have been initialized.
Right. So now the question is that why it is saying that it, when I was not using the finite, it was not prompting, it was not giving the error that blank field is not initialized. But now it is saying that when you have mentioned it final, it is saying that the blank final field may not have been initialized. And reason is only this. Just think about that. In the last session I told you, whenever you create any object, what happens? It creates the object in the memory, it allocates the memory for each and every property, right? It allocates the memory, and when it allocates the memory, at the same time it says, it sees that what type of, in what type of restriction it has to made it. Like for example, if I made any property static, so it will make it shared. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now when
Yes.
you have put the final keyword, it means it is saying that it has to lock the memory. It has to lock the memory. Means what will happen when it will create this memory location at that time, if it will see that there is a final keyword used in the property definition, it will lock the memory. Got it my point? Now tell me, if this memory will be locked at that time and I am not storing any value, it will be waste of memory. Yes or no?
Yes. I think that's why it's showing that blank final field cannot be initialized.
Exactly. Because the thing is that if you are not making it final, in that case, what is happening? Okay, this field is shared. Maybe anybody can put any value in any point of time in your programming, right? So that's why it has no problem. But it is saying that, when this property will be created in the memory, at the same time, I will have to put a lock. I have to put a lock. So if I'm putting a lock, nothing is stored there. So it is a useless. It is waste of memory. So it is asking that if you want to make it final, please store some value at that time. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
So now
Yes.
the thing is that what is the purpose of this type value? Now the thing is that if you want to make any property, that you want to make only read only. So it is indirectly what is saying that you are creating a read only value, read only, or sometime you also known this thing with the name that is called constant. What do you mean by constant? A thing that never going to be changed, that is called constant. So indirectly you have created a constant variable. Yes or no? So you will see when I make it final in your code where you are trying to access this value, you can see you can access this value. Are you getting any problem at line number 17? No, because here you are trying to read the value, so there is no problem. But if you want to update something, you will get the error. You are getting the error line number 8, because you are trying to update some value for the stool name. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it means whenever you want to, in the structure, whenever any developer or any person who designed the class and he want to make a property, that should be shared, but nobody can change it. It should be marked as final. So in this case, what happened? Every object can read this property, but nobody can change it. Getting my point?
Yes,
Yes.
Pradeep. But Pradeep, in that case, we do not need to define that as a static also, right?
Yes. So now only this question always comes into the, you can say my every session, and it is very, very interesting. Now what happens? Now take the example. If I will do this thing, so let's take the example. Somebody can ask me that, Pradeep, if I will put this thing here, what will be the impact? Yes or no? Are you getting my point? If I will put this final keyword with a property name, what will be the impact? Now tell me, if I am going to use this with a non-static property, what will happen? And can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me? No?
Because
I
I think the
should be
student
able
name is not
to.
defined, so how we can utilize it? Because it's
No,
only allocate the memory, not initialize the
no. If
value
we'll
that.
make it final, then we cannot make any changes in student names. So we cannot put any
And
variables.
this will be applicable for every object.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now it will be a problem. So think about that. It means actually two things are there, and it is very, very clapping for you that you have asked this question for everybody. Now the thing is that whenever you are making the final thing, actually the meaning of final will always be same: lock the memory. But only in case of static, what is happening here, my requirement was that there is some value, there is some property in my structure that everybody want to use it, and that is not going to be changed for everybody. So that's why if I'm putting ABC, that will be applicable for everybody, right? There is no problem. And you know that school name is the best example of that. Yes or no? But now think about the this property, roll number. Can you tell me, if I am making it final, so what is my requirement? Tell me, the student roll number can be read only for everybody.
No.
Yes, it can be read only for everybody. But now the question is that, can it be final for everybody? Means same. It cannot be same for everybody. Yes or no?
No,
Yes.
it'll be unique for
Yes,
our
but it
student.
should be read only. It should be read only. Why? I will tell you the best example. Why I've taken this example with the student roll number. Now think about that. In the school, or you can take the example of your own company. In your company, suppose you have an employee ID. Now tell me, employee ID is unique for everybody. Yes or no?
Mhm. Yes.
But the same
Yes.
time, if you also want to change the employee ID, you cannot change it. Why reason is that? Because this is the ID which is going to refer you for your whole life. After 10 years, when you come back to your company and you want to get the details, everything related to you, you are only depend on employee ID. Yes or no? So they never change it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So employee ID should be unique. So you cannot stop. So you need to find a way so that nobody can change it. But now the problem is that if I will put a value here, suppose example, employee ID 7. So now it will be applicable for everybody. So now my problem is not solved. It is read only, but I cannot assign this value for any object. For every object, by default, its value will be 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
तो अब तो now it is a problem. तो कैसे solve करते हैं? Now very interesting thing. Let me remove this. ये error आ रही है. Let me remove it. ठीक है. इसको यहाँ पे ऐसे ही रहने देंगे. I will come to this topic. Let me complete one other topic today, and in that topic I will cover this thing. Is it okay? ठीक है. So for
Yes.
the timing, let me. इसको याद रखिएगा, लेकिन it is very, very question. Chali, let me come back. So we have learned about the class object, we have learned about the properties, and we have also seen that how we can create the object of a class and we can assign the values. Is it okay? We can create the
But,
object in this way and then we can assign the values. Is it okay?
but Pradeep, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
So suppose in the third line, it's static final string student school name equals to ABC.
Yeah.
So it have the static and final both values. And in that case, as per the static, it's a shareable, and a
Yes.
final is lockable. Means you
Yes.
can't change the value, but
Yes.
it can be utilized by the everyone
Everyone.
who's fall in that particular class.
Yeah, and not only that to class, from any class, if you want to access this property, you from any Prachi is also want to use this property. She is creating the object of, because if you want to use any property, you have to create the object of that class. So anybody can be user. Prasti can be a user of a student class. You can be a Gaurav can be a user. Anybody can be, but the person has to create a object of that class. Yes or no?
Yeah. Okay. That's
Okay.
fine.
Now the thing is that second thing which comes into the your class, I told you one thing is the property in your class, and second thing is called functions. Okay, now the thing is that what is the function, what is the purpose of that function?
So
Okay,
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you before moving to the function.
yeah.
So if I remove the static, then in that in what will happen? Like the final string, then it will not shareable with others.
If you make it, if you remove the static,
Yes.
yes, it will not be shareable. It will not be shareable. It means what will happen, but think about that, because you have put it final, it is not shareable, but at the same time it is read only. So only the difference is that currently when you are making it static, in the memory there will only one location for a student school name, and everybody read the data from that. But if you remove the static, every object have will get a separate copy of this property in the memory. Are you getting my point? And that will be read only. So in the current scenario, if you are creating it static and if you are creating without a static, in terms of use it is same, but in terms of memory you are wasting. Yes or no?
So in a static, we are going to create a separate memory and we can allocate values as per our need.
Yes.
But in final, you are going to create only one memory and you are going
No,
to
no, no, not
in
in the case of final. Don't try to confuse the final. The meaning of static is separate, meaning of final is separate, and this meaning of separate. When you are creating any memory only this way, you are just giving the name of property and the data type. It will create a separate memory for every object. That is clear?
yes.
Now come to the, just add one more thing. When you add a static thing, it means you have make this memory common. So now instead of creating the multiple copies of this memory, it will create only single location. Is it okay?
Yes.
And when you make it final, same share location is logged, so everybody can read the value from it, but nobody can change it. Is it okay?
Okay.
Now again you have asked me, when again let me start from here. I have created a student school name property with the data type. It will create a separate memory for everybody. Is it okay?
Okay.
Now I use final keyword. So in this case, everybody has a separate memory for school name, but for everybody it is logged. Yes or no?
So means in final case, everyone have their own separate memories, but in a static case, there is only one memory allocation is there.
Yes, so I'm saying that don't try to understand in this way that if it is final for everybody, it will be a separate memory. Final is only the thing is that it is separate memory or it is a shared. Only the thing is it will be logged. Getting my point?
I'm sorry, but can you please show me in the diagram which you shown me in
Yes,
the.
that is a great thing. Let me show you. I will do one thing. Let me create this one. Okay, let me do one thing. I am going to cover a topic function in which I will cover this thing. Actually, I have to cover only this final thing here. I told you, so I will cover so that understand you will understand these both things. Okay. Okay, chaliए पहले हम cover करते हैं. Let me cover the function. Actually, to tell this concept, you have to understand the concept of function. Okay, then you understand what happens that and how it works. Okay, I can tell you about this thing, but when you are going to ask this thing that how I can make a variable final without a static, how it is possible. So I will tell you that thing after the topic of function. Is it okay? Otherwise, you will not understand. Is it okay?
Yes, yes,
Pradeep,
okay.
I have the great definition for this. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please, please. This is two-way communication so that everybody understand. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the person who is asking, but yeah, for that, we can understand like this, like we have like 10 members in a school. So all the members' school name are same. So we will create roll number, name, and school name. So for each 10 members, the school name will allocate 10 different values.
Right.
Or then while using it static, then the school name will allocate only one memory and it can share by all the 10 members.
Very good. Right.
And while creating it to the final, then we can accessible with the help of static to all the members, but we can't change the value of school name because it is final value. So
Excellent,
that is what
excellent.
we can understand for
Excellent. Yeah. So now in case of roll number, I'm saying that if you are not using the static keyword, you are only using final. So only one restriction is removed. What? That everybody will get a copy of this, you can say property student roll number. Okay. And that will be logged. Yes or no?
this. Yes.
So now what will be the drawback? I will tell you. Okay. So let me complete this thing. Then you will understand drawback. Trust me, you will. And if you're not understand, I will take another session. But till the time your doubt will be not cleared, I will not move it. Okay. So now let me come to the function. So what is the use of function? So actually the function are created in the class to achieve the common instruction which is followed by every object and which is needed in your class. Now, for example, let me take the example of from the real life. Suppose what happens, why we use the coffee machine or tea machine, why we use in the offices. The reason is that when somebody want to prepare a cup of tea, he has to follow some instruction, right? For example, he has to follow some instruction. Let me write it here also. You will boil the water, yes or no? Then you will add sugar. Somebody will say, no, 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 I'm not going to add sugar. First of all, I'm going to add milk. Somebody will say, I will make it more interesting. I will add some ginger.
Ginger.
Now it's a winter. So in simple words we can say, but if you go to the you can say common things, we will say that I'm going to prepare a tea. So somebody will follow the standard step: boil water, add milk, add tea leaves. Okay. And then you will say add sugar, yes or no? And then you will say add no, everything is added. Somebody is interested. I can add the ginger. So let me add ginger. And then you will say
Here
boil
we
again.
can define the flavor, no?
Okay, boil again. Somebody will say, I will add the peppers also. In the winter, pepper is also good for the tea, right? So boil water again. So here you will say, so here what you are trying to do, whenever everybody will want to make a cup of tea, he will follow this instruction. Yes or no? So take the example. Suppose in my example, Prachi want to prepare a cup of tea. So she is going to write these steps. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, Gaurav is also interested to prepare a cup of tea. He is also going to write same instruction again. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes or no? So now the thing is that if everybody is interested in just preparing a cup of tea, so instead of writing this instruction, Gaurav has to write this instruction one time, then Prachi, then everybody is actually repeating the instruction, same instruction again and again. So the thing is that instead of that, we can do one thing. We can write instructions of these in a particular block. We can write this. Okay, if anybody want to execute this instructions, I can do one thing. Let me also give the example with the help of this one. If I'm going to write let me write a code that I will copy here so that I can show. Suppose I'm going to write these steps in the form of this one. So let me write this step, Control X. I'm going to write steps in the form of this one. So let me write this one. The first step, I'm going to, with the help of what? You can assume that when I'm making a SOP, so I'm boiling the water. You can assume it because on system, I cannot boil the water. Is it okay?
Yes.
So you can assume it, I'm boiling the water. Okay. So now you can say I'm adding the milk. Okay. So here you can see one thing. Let me do one thing. First of all, let me write it again too. Then again this one. So for you, I'm just trying to prepare a tea. So let me add this thing here. So let me add sugar here. Let me add sugar here. Now, we have to add ginger. So let me write more steps. Add ginger. Okay, now let me add more step. And I will say boil water again. Is it okay? Everything is clear that if we want to prepare a tea. So let me do one thing. I'm going to write these steps when What is happening right? Yeah. So let me cut these steps from here, Control X, and I'm going to write where Prachi is preparing tea. Now tell me, when Prachi is going to prepare tea, she will write this instruction. Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now think, one more person is, I'm creating in this Java package a different user, means a different class. So let me add one more class. No, new, and here I will write Gaurav, Gaurav. Suppose Gaurav is also interested to prepare a tea. So what is happening? Gaurav can do one thing in its own method. He will write the instruction to prepare tea. Yes or no?
Yes.
So Gaurav is also writing the same instructions here. This one. Now I can take the example of any other person. Java, Gaurav is there, Prachi is there. Who can take the example? Who like the tea most? Tell me. Who like tea most? Anybody? Nobody like the tea?
No.
You can
No.
make a party too then.
I can write. Your good name is?
No, I said you can make a Prachi too then.
Oh, Prachi too then. Okay. So let me take my own example. I myself, Pradeep, also interested to get a tea. So now the thing is that I will create my own class and I will again prepare a tea by my own. So I will write this instruction again. So now see, Prachi is going to write the instruction to prepare a tea in his own method. Gaurav is also going to write instruction in its own class. Prachi is also going to write instruction in own class. So now the thing is that if we are seeing that how many steps here executed to prepare a tea? 6. Yes or no? So 6 instruction is executed by Prachi, 6 instruction are executed by Gaurav, and 6 instruction are executed by Pradeep. So can we reduce the Can we reduce the number of lines of code? And we can also reduce the effort. Why? Pradeep is again writing. Actually, I'm making a SOP. Exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to write the code to prepare a tea. So we can do one thing, that if somebody has created these instruction and can tell me that whenever you want to prepare a tea, just refer this instruction. You don't need to write your own. So how we can do it? Just see, in your class, in your student class, I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to write this instruction at a single place in the student, this block. Is it okay? What I've done, instead of writing this instruction again and again by separate person, I actually stored this instruction in a particular block in my student class. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now I'm giving a name of this block. I'm saying that I'm giving a name of block, and I'm giving the name of this block prepare tea. Getting my point? I'm giving the name of block, and now there is a part of syntax that whenever you are creating a block of a statement and you want to give a name, after that you have to use this symbol, and this symbol is tell that it is a block of instruction, and you are giving the name of this block of instruction as a prepare tea. Is it okay? Okay.
Yes.
So now the thing is that after that you will say, for the time being, I'm writing something here. Don't ask me right now. I will tell you I'm writing a word prepare tea. Is it okay? But now just see, now what will happen? Now you have created a set of instruction in a common place. Now anybody who is interested to prepare a tea, he will do one thing. Don't write this instruction. Simply do one thing. You have an object of a student class, yes or no? You have an
Yes.
object of this class, yes or no?
Yes.
So anybody who's interested, don't write this code. Simply say, just create the object of a student. Gaurav will simply create the object of a student class and simply stu and will say new student, and he will get all the things which is available in that class. So he's also able to access that code of block. So he will say stu dot. Just see, are you able to see that code of block access prepare T? Yes or no?
Yes.
Now just see, I'm going to run this thing and just tell me T is preparing or not. I'm talking about the virtual T. So it is preparing. You can see everything is executed. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now suppose Gaurav also want to prepare the tea again. So what he will do? Again, he will write instruction. No, again, he will call the same thing in the one line, and he's going to call all the instruction to prepare the tea. Now think about that. Pradeep is still trying to, if Pradeep want to create the steps to create a or prepare the tea, again he can do one thing, just create the object. Yes or no? Student, STU, he can give any other name. If you are saying that how why he's going to follow the same name and STU object name, no, he's going to create some other object. Only the need is that he will create the object, he can access everything from that. So now this time he will again say, I'm not going to write this section, already instruction is written, I'm going to call it. So you will see he is also doing the same thing and he is achieving the same thing. Now tell me, this is the good approach, or every time you have to write the instruction like here? Oh, I have to make it Control Z. Yes or no? So you are saving the lines of code, yes or no?
Yes.
And
So
same
Pradeep,
time, in the same time, you are also actually saving the effort of creating a function. What code you should write to prepare T, that you should understand, right? Pradeep should know, Gaurav should know, Prachi should know, everybody should know that what should be the step to prepare a T. But if somebody has already written that code in a particular block and given the name, and he's saying that you can access it, so why don't you call it? Yes or no?
yes.
So, and this thing is also known as, actually this thing is known as functions. Functions, now the one thing comes into the mind, function, the main thing is that function should be created. One is, first of all, to perform a particular task, to perform a specific task, to perform a specific functionality. That's why these are called functions. Getting my point? Second is that the function which you are creating, actually it should be reusable. It should be common for everybody. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
चलिए आपको एक एग्जांपल और देता हूं from the student perspective.
So
I am
Pradeep,
going to,
I have a two question here.
sorry,
I have a two question here.
yeah, please raise it
So
right.
first one is that why we use the void and in front of the function, and another one is that can we initialize the same name of object in every class, like you use the Pradeep in S1 and the Prach is S1, so it will
Yes.
not confused kind of.
No, not will be confused. And I have, if I've not given the reason, I can give the reason right now. Just see, whenever you're saying that S1, okay, what happens that you are creating this S1. Okay, so S1 is referred in your class, that is different class, and you are different class. Now you can think about a real example. Suppose you have I don't know whether you have, how many kids you have, you are married or not.
I got it.
So
I got it. Suppose two Gora in the different class.
yes, you can take the example that somebody likes Shah Rukh Khan very much. He will say, I will give the name of my kid Shah Rukh Khan. So, but you cannot say that, okay, Prachi or Gaurav cannot give their kids the name Shah Rukh. Now they can easily differentiate. Prachi has different Shah Rukh Khan, Gaurav has different Shah Rukh Khan, and Pradeep has different Shah Rukh Khan. They are identified with their class. Yes or no?
Yes, got it.
And it is
And
very common.
what about void?
Yes, now I will tell you that thing. That I'm saying that don't ask me, because when I will complete the topic, let me complete the topic of function, then you can. Okay.
Okay.
So this is clear that whenever you are going to create this thing, so this is the, you can say, rule. Why you put this thing? Only the reason is that. Now the question is also should come in mind that why I'm using this bracket. The thing is that suppose you are going to write multiple instruction in your class, right? For example, if you are writing these instruction, if I will add this instruction one, add more instruction, and you will say, Pradeep, this is very odd one. Why you are writing this thing? It is really related to the add coffee beans. Now tell me, is there any relation of this step with the preparing tea? Yes or no?
No.
No.
So actually this, but it is a valid instruction. Yes or no? It is a valid instruction. You can
Yes,
add coffee
it's a
beans.
valid.
So actually, but it is not a part of this group. It can be, but it can be another group. Maybe we are going to write some other functionality to prepare coffee. So we should write the something like that, prepare coffee, and maybe this instruction is a part of that one. Is it okay? So actually why we are writing this bracket? So we are telling that this functionality will be achieved starting from this instruction and ending from this instruction. So actually it is giving a boundary. It is giving a scope of the function. Are you getting my point? So
Yes.
with the help of this, you are actually defining your instruction. This is the boundary. If whenever you ask, when you are asked to prepare a T, whenever you call my functionality prepare T, I will only execute this instruction which is wrapped in this block. I'm not going to execute any other. Getting my point? Is it okay?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, now the thing is that I have put it void. Reason is that it was giving the error, but now I will tell you why I'm writing it here. Now you understand the thing that why we should create the function to achieve the common functionality which everybody can use, and they don't need to make an effort to write the code for achieving that particular functionality. Is it okay? That point is clear?
Yes.
So now the thing is that how I am writing the syntax of a function in Java. So you will understand this thing when you will see this thing, that every functionality in this world, I'm not talking about in terms of Java, every functionality in this world actually depends on two things: input and output. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? It means what happens that whenever you are trying to achieve this functionality in this world, the functionalities actually depends in these two things. Whenever it is trying to achieve some task for you, it is taking some input from you, yes or no, or it is not. I understand that it may be possible that input is yes, answer is yes or no, but depends on input. Yes or no? You need a consent for that. Yes or no?
Yes.
And same time, your functionality is going to return something to you, that is also concerned. Answer can be yes or no, but it depends on that. You have to get the answer that really your functionality is going to take some input, or it is going to give some output. Your concern is totally depend on that. So now the thing is that how many possibilities are there when you have no input and you have no output? Yes or no? You can create a functionality which is not taking anything from you and not giving anything to you. Yes or no? In that case, this will be a functionality which is taking no input and no output. Is it okay?
Yes.
Second thing is that it is taking some input, and you can say and, or you can say, let me use and no output. Is it okay? You will be very surprised.
Without output, what will I use?
I will tell you every real example. And again, if you will not convince, I will not move ahead. Second thing is, now tell me, third combination. What will be the third combination? No input. It is a pure math. Yeah, and it is pure math. If you can remind, there was a topic in the math, probability. Yes or no?
Yes.
And what was the formula for? And what was the formula?
Permutation and combination.
Yes. And what was the formula for that? 2 to power n. And n is the number of inputs, number of parameters. So here, how many parameters you have? One thing is input. On the basis of input and output, you 2 parameters. So how many probability? 2 to power 2. It means 4. And same is applicable when you are going to test login functionality. How many permutation combination? 4. Valid username, valid password. Valid username, invalid password. Invalid username, valid password. Invalid username and invalid password. Yes or no? So here I will give the example. No input and what do you say? Output. Yes or no?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the last category is that you will give the input and you will get the output. Is it okay? This thing is clear or not?
Yes.
Yes.
So now the thing is that whenever you create a function, actually Java has specified a syntax of function. I have given an example that, for example, what I'm doing here, whenever you create a function, you can parallelly see the prepare T function and see the syntax. Syntax says that, first of all, you have to define a body. First of all, you have to define a body. Is it okay? Then outside this body, you have to give the name of function. Means something like that. You have to give the name of function. Function name should be here. Whatever you are deciding for your function. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now, after function name, it is a symbol which is going to tell you actually it is a symbol. Now, again, why they have given it? Just think about that. If I'm going to use this name for my function, it will be confusing, yes or no?
Yes, it can.
So how you can identify the difference? If something is written without this bracket, that is a property. If it is something defined with the same name also, but it is defined with this one, it is function. Is it okay? So it is a part of function. Now, second thing, there is also a specific reason for this bracket is also that syntax is that function name you have to define, bracket you have to define, and you have to define this one. Now the thing is that you have two options. You have to maybe sometime you have to give input and sometime you have to take the output. So if you want to give some input, this is the place to give input. This is the place to take input parameters. Is it okay?
Yes.
And you can give not one, you can give multiple number of input parameters. Are you getting my point?
Agree.
Now, before the function name, there is a place syntax that here you have to give output parameter or output type. Are you getting my point? OUT, PUT, output type or output parameter. Is it okay? This syntax is clear. You have to write the function. Now you can compare it. This is my function name, prepare T. Yes or no? After that, I have specified this symbol. Is it okay? Anybody have any doubt? You can raise me right now. This is the name of function. Is it okay? I've given this symbol. That is okay. I've given the body. That is okay. Is it okay?
Yes.
If I'm not giving any input, so I am making it blank. Is it okay?
Yes. That's
Now,
why I
only
use
the
void.
concern is that you have asked me one thing, Pradeep, I'm not taking any output. Why you have written it void? So answer is that in Java, they have raised, you can say they have make a restriction that if your function is not returning anything, how the Java will come to know? Please only write one keyword, void. Void means this function I'm not doing any return anything. I'm not returning anything from this. Are you getting my point?
Got it.
Yes.
So this is the reason. Other than that, if you are want to return something from this function, you will give the type of data. है ना? अब now take the example. अगर मैं कह दूं आपके पास you have any machine, some transparent machine is there, and you are saying that this machine will do everything, but it will not return any output to you. What you will say? You are really interested that what should be the output? No. If it is not returning, you just want to know that it will not return anything. So void is actually telling to the Java that this function will not return anything. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Now the thing is that I will give you another example to understand the other. So this is the best example where you are not giving any input and you are not getting any output. Now the question should become in the mind that whenever Pradeep is running, so what it is doing here? What it is doing here? It is not an output. Oh, what happens? I have created any error. Oh, okay. Maybe because for telling you syntax, actually, I'm using a code. So it should be commented. It is not a proper code. I'm telling you syntax. Okay, now just see. I'm running this code. Tell me. And this is the major thing. When you run this, when Pradeep called the prepare T, he has seen this thing. And people usually say that it is an output. It is an output. From today onwards, in the general life, you can see that it is output. But actually, it is not output. It is a display. It is a display statement. Are you getting my point? Whenever you are using anywhere, you are using syso system.out.println. Whenever you are using this statement syso for printing anything, it is not output. It is just a display. Getting my point?
Okay.
Okay, and how I can prove it? Simply see that one thing. Why we say that it is not an output, it is a display. I can show you. First of all, tell me one thing. I'm going to give another example of a function where I will try to create a function for you, some meaningful function, so that where you can see the really some code. I'm going to create an add function. Okay, so I'm going to write here. I want to make in the category of no input and no output. So I'm not passing any parameter here. I'm not returning anything. So can I do one coding here? Int a equal to 3, int b equal to 4, and I can say int c equal to a plus b. Is it okay? So now you
Yes.
tell me one that when this function will be called, what will be the value of c?
It would be 7.
It would be 7. Now just see. Now just see, because this function is not taking any input, it is not giving any output. So what Pradeep will see? Just see. I'm going to call this thing for you. For timing, let me comment this thing and let me call s1 dot, I will say add.
And
अब मैं इसको let me execute. अब मैं इसको execute करता हूँ. आप मुझे बताना. I've executed. Have you seen anything on your console?
No.
nothing because
No,
there is
nothing
no
will
SOP.
come.
But but it means, what do you think? It means when this call this function, it has not executed these instructions.
It has done
No.
that.
And I can also prove this. Just do one thing. Whenever you are confused that what it is going in Java, do one thing. Whenever whenever your instruction is executed by the Java, they actually follow the things. How? Just see. When the control will go to the 7, it will go to the add function. It will go to the student class and the body of add function. You want to see? Just click on control button and click on it and see where automatically controls goes. Where it is going?
An add function.
Yes. So by default, at runtime, same things happen. The control goes to the add function, and in the add function, its responsibility is to execute all the instruction. When all the instruction will be complete, the control will come back to the point where it was called at line number 7 of Pradeep. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes or no? So now it is very, very important thing. And trust me, 99% of people are confused in this, what is display and what is output. And then they do not learn the Selenium easily, because 99% what you have to do in the Selenium and rest assured, whatever, you are calling the function which is created by others. You want to call a function to open a browser, you want to call a function to find an element. What you are doing, if you do not know what is input, what is output, you cannot call a function properly. So here I will show you what happens. Whenever you call any function, it goes to here, it execute all the instruction within the body and just come back here. Are you getting my point? So when it come back to the line where from where it was called, it usually, you will see what happened. It usually do not take anything back at the line number 7. It is not returning anything from the function when it is coming back to the line number 7. Why it is not coming? Because you have not specified anything that it should return. Is it okay?
Yes.
So now somebody asked me, Pradeep, what is the use of this type of function? At least if you want to create this type of function which is not taking any input and any output, at least you should give a statement that what is happening here. So at least you can give the information some, and you can at least give the state. Still it is not output, because this instruction is written where? This instruction written in the same body of add class. Are you getting my point? This time you will at least see the message. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
Now this is clear. Somebody, if you want to prepare, if you want to make some predefined things, then you use this type of function. What is that? Without input and without output. And the best example in the real world is prepare T. Okay, for example, you only want to see the instruction. Now I will show you that how other type of function you can make it. Now tell me, what is the drawback of this function? Not in terms of functionality, in terms of logically, what is the drawback of this function? For everybody, when everybody will call this function, it will give it is going to add two numbers and that are fixed, 3 and 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
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 But now tell me, when Pradeep is calling function, answer is 7. Let me write this same code in the class of Gaurav. Gaurav is also interested to call this function. So let me write same code here and just see what he will get. He will also get the 7. So everybody is getting the sum of two numbers. So this function is not so much useful. What is the use of in the current scenario? The function should be dynamic. What do you mean by dynamic? It should take some parameters from the input from the Gaurav. It should take some parameters from the Pradeep and then give the addition of these two numbers. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
So now the thing is that, again, just see what happens. Whenever you call any function, the control goes to that function and only execute the instruction which is available in the body. It do not take anything automatically in the body of this function, and it cannot send anything without the consent of the function outside this body. In simple words, कोई भी instruction, कोई भी वैल्यू इस फंक्शन के अंदर, इस ब्लॉक के अंदर अपने आप नहीं जाएगी और इस ब्लॉक से अपने आप बाहर नहीं जाएगी. It depends on the structure of your function. जब तक आपका till the time your function is not going to allow it. ठीक है, तो आपके फंक्शन ने भी अलाउ नहीं किया, तो सबसे पहले क्या करते हैं, एक काम करते हैं. Let me do one thing. Let me try to make it this function more usable. कैसे हम करते हैं कि I want to create this function in such a way that the parameters should be passed by the user. Is it okay? तो आप मुझे बताओ in your syntax where you can make your function to take parameters from user. This is the place. Yes or no?
Under this bracket.
And
So
Yes.
you will do one thing. You can see very interesting thing. I'm using the addition of these two numbers A and B. Yes or no? Let me
Yes.
delete it. मैं इसको remove कर देता हूँ. Let me remove it. You will see again it start getting the error. A and B. Why it is giving the error? Because A and B
we
is not
haven't
defined.
declared it.
Because A is not
Yes.
defined anywhere. But you are saying this time that A and B are not declared within the body, but I'm declaring in the parameter section. So what will the benefit? You will see the error will be gone. So now what syntax this says this, whenever anybody will call this function, he will pass two parameters, and these two parameters will be available in this block, and you will get the sum of these two numbers. Yes or no?
Yes.
चलिए अब देखते हैं when you have changed this thing in your Gaurav, it will start giving the error. क्यों? Now there is no function available add without parameter. Now you will say again do one thing, just remove it and say dot. Are you able to see the function add this time telling you that this functions need?
There should be two parameters.
Yes, and it is very important to understand the help of this Eclipse. Now here you can see here whenever you are saying dot and you are able to see all the properties in the function, it is telling you everything. For example, in this function, what is the format? First of all, it shows you the name of function add. In the bracket means it is telling you if there are some parameters, you can see it here, right? Currently you can see two parameters, int A and B. After colon, it is giving you that this further, this function is not going to return anything. Are you getting my point? And at last it is giving you the owner of the class. Who is the owner of this class? Student. Where
Student.
it exists in the student. Is it okay? So seeing this thing, you will understand if you want to use this function, what you have to do. So for calling this function, you are passing the parameters 4 and 5. Now the question is that in this case, what happened? Just see what is the flow. This time when you have a function like this, which can take parameter, and when control goes to the function, it takes these parameters with it at the time of control. So क्या करेगा? It will, when it will go to the function, it will take two values. First and second, it will go to here. And first value will be stored in the A variable and second will be stored in the B variable. Getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
अब इसको let me do one thing. Now Gaurav is going to run it. Just see, Gaurav run करेंगे. So what will be the answer? You will see. Answer will be 9. Yes or no? Now the
Yes.
benefit is that Pradeep can also call the same function. Only the thing is that he also passed some parameters, but according to his own need. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now the thing is that Pradeep can also call the same function. Gaurav can also call the same function. Only this function is that this time this function is taking input from the user, because we have made the function to able to take parameters from. So now this comes under which category? Input, but no output. Yes or no?
If the first one input and the like input we are getting, output is also we are getting.
No,
No,
again
output is not getting because SOP is just we are displaying that. So input is given.
I can prove it. I can prove it. Just simply see. If I remove this statement, let me comment it. Let me comment it. Okay. And okay, let me not comment it. Let me show one thing. Let me as it is, because people are usually confusing. Only the thing is that your Java definition is saying that it is not returning anything. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So let me see what is the output. Output की exact meaning क्या होती है? Output is something like that which is in your control and which you are getting at the line of calling. जहां से आपने instruction को call किया है, अगर वहीं पे आपको उसकी value मिल जाए, that is called it is returning. So you have called this function from S1 line number 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
At runtime,
Yes.
this place you should get the value 11. Yes or no? Yes or no?
I didn't get.
We didn't get. You can check it. Just see. If I can prove it, if I am getting some return from the response, can I store in a variable here? For example, I can say in my Pradeep class, I create a variable rest result, and I'm trying to store. Anybody can read the error for me?
Type mismatch cannot convert from void to int.
And why it is saying that? Because you know that when control goes to there, it will take the value 6 and 7. It will execute everything, but it is not returning anything from this block. Because I told you, without your concern, it will not return anything. Yes or no?
Yes.
अब करते हैं कि how you can make it possible so that you can return anything from here. ठीक है, अब ऐसे प्रूफ भी हो जाएगा. सो लेट मी डू वन थिंग, इस एरर को ऐसे ही रहने दो, अभी प्रूफ हो जाएगा दैट वी कैन रिटर्न एनीथिंग और नॉट. इट इज नॉट रिटर्निंग, व्हाई इट इज गिविंग द एरर? अगर राइट साइड में when the control will go to here and when it will come back to it, और यहाँ पे कुछ लाएगा ही नहीं, तो आप मुझे बताओ, if you are not writing anything, can you store something in the variable result? No. जब राइट साइड में कुछ होगा तभी तो लेफ्ट में you are going to store it, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
तो इसीलिए that's why it is giving error. ठीक है, अब देखो एरर अपने आप चली जाएगी कैसे. लेट मी गो टू द स्टूडेंट क्लास एंड क्रिएट इन द कैटेगरी वेयर यू आर passing the input as well as you are getting the output. तो output के लिए what is the thing you have to make changes in your function? First of all, what type of value you want to return from this function? You have to define it here. Tell me how many values are there? C is there. You are interested to return C. So what is the type of C? Int. So instead of void, you are going to tell this function, I want to return the value of int. That is okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now the thing is that you have defined this function that okay, I'm interested to return the return value of integer type. But now the thing is that you have to tell what value, because maybe possibility is there. You are, for example, you have C variable and maybe you have some variable, something like that, int D, and you are doing some what you are saying that suppose C multiply to, maybe you are doing something, some logic there. Is it okay?
Yeah.
So now
Yes.
you can return anything, any numeric value from this function. C you can return, D you can return, you can anything return from any numeric thing you can return. So you have to tell your function what exact value you want to return. So at the line of this code, at the last line of this code, actually, oh, just wait for me. Okay, so at the last of this line, you are going to tell what value you want to return. And what is the syntax for that? RETURN. What value you want to return, just specify here. If you will say C, it will return C value. If you write D, it will return D value. Only the thing is that what is your requirement? Because my function says that I want to achieve a functionality of add. So definitely I'm going to return the addition. So I will return C. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now you'll see I have modified it and you will see the error is gone from Pradeep class. And now why is the reason? Now let me execute again with me. Let me execute with me. Everybody execute. Control will goes to here, yes or no, to the add function, and it will take the value 6 and 7. So 6 will be stored here, yes or no? 7 will be stored here. In the body, it will execute A plus B, 6 plus 7. That become 13. Right? And it will execute something like that. Everything it will do. And when the control will go to the last line, it will say that, oh, when I will go back to my calling line of code, I have to return the value C. So when it will go back to the line number 7, this thing will be replaced by 13. Are you getting my point?
Agree.
At this time, at runtime, what will the value of right side expression? 13. And if it is a 13, you can store in a res variable. Yes or no?
Yes.
And you can see, again, I'm doing, this was the code. Let me execute it and see, it is returning the value, this one or not. In my class also, I can get the result. How? This time I'm printing the value, but in my own class. Just see. You can see this answer is printed in my class. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it doesn't mean if you are returning something and you are not interested because you are returning, so maybe you are going to utilize it. So you can do one thing. It is not mandatory that you can writing a print statement here, because why I'm writing the print statement, I told you, if I'm doing something in my function, I'm not returning anything. At least I should give the some display that I'm doing something for you, but I'm not returning anything. I will give the example of that also. Is it okay? This thing is clear that whenever you want to create a function to take input parameters you want to provide, you have to make it as a parameters, and here you have to give the type of return, and here you can give the value. Is it okay?
Yes.
So
Um,
always, yeah, tell me.
Just one thing, like we cannot return two things at one time because we have that function very specific. So like even if we are having C and D, we will be just able to return one thing. Or I can go ahead and write next statement as return T.
No, that is the, and it is, trust me, you have asked a question that you are going to prepare for the Oracle and Microsoft. Trust me, it is very good. Clapping for you. The thing is that in the function at a time, you can return only one value. You can pass multiple values, but you can return only one values, right? But this is the statement which is given by the Java in the standard form. But you can write your function in such a way that you can return multiple values. Only the concern is that the multiple values should be written as a group. Are you getting my point?
Okay. Yes.
चलिए उसको एक real life example समझते हैं. If I will say that I will give you only one file, you can get it from me to your system. So if I have 4 Java files, I can do one thing. I will say you can choose one, A B C D, right? You can, because you can copy at a time, you can copy one thing from my system. If I have 4 files in my system, so you can copy either A, B, C or D. But you can make a trick. You can make a group of these files and make a zip. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So in one go you can I allowed you that you can in one go you can do copy anything. So instead of copying all the files separately, you make a group of these files, created a zip, and then in one go you can copy it at your end, and again you will extract it and you will get everything separately. Yes or no?
Yes.
And this thing is also possible in Java. That's why if you go to the previous definition of class is also, I told you, class is a collection of objects having similar properties. Class is a blueprint. Now today you will understand a beautiful thing. Class is a custom data type. And you have learned this thing. आपने learn भी कर लिया है, लेकिन आपने, because the thing is that because the people have never think from that perspective, so you are not understanding what I'm saying. Class is a custom data type. Why I'm saying the class is a custom data type, you will see. Just see what happens that if I am returning anything from here, I can return any data type here, integer, string. In Java, there are so many data type. There are so many data type which are available, like integer, a string, everything is there. But you tell me one thing, how every data type is wrapped in one thing, and that is object. Yes or no? Tell me, when you are doing this soft code, let me show you, what you are doing. This is one value, yes or no? This is another value. But if you want to give somebody the all values, instead of giving the roll number, you can give this one, yes or no? If I will give you S1, everything is stored here at your end. You can access S1 dot roll number, S1 dot name, S1 dot school name. I am returning the whole S1. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
And I can show you one thing. Just see. Maybe I'm getting you that you are confused. Just see. I can create a function something like that. Whenever you are written anything, the return type can be anything. So I told you class is a custom type. So you can do one thing. I'm just doing this thing. Don't take it. I'm creating a function. Get student details. Okay. Just test me. Tell me one thing. I can write this. I want to return something here. Suppose I'm saying that in this function, I will do one thing. I will what I will do, I will set all the values of a student here. Okay. And when I have to return, at a time I can return one value, but I can do one thing. I can say that student S1 equal to new student. I've created here new student. For your understanding, I'm telling you, otherwise you don't need to write this code. You have to understand this code. Now tell me one thing. S1 dot, oh sorry, I have written S, so I will write S dot roll number. What is the roll number? Let me write 3. S1 dot, I'm setting every value in object S. S is also a variable. Yes or no?
Yes.
Only the thing is that it is known as reference variable. Normal C is a integer type variable. S1 is also variable. Just see what I'm going to do. S1 dot student name. I am going to write it. Suppose I am going to write it Gaurav. In the same way, you can write multiple values. Yes or no?
Yes.
ठीक है, सारी वैल्यू रिटर्न कर दी आप. You can do one thing. Just give the return type of this function as a student. Are you getting my point? And what you have to return? You have to return a value of type student. And what is that? S. Yes or no? Are you getting any error in this function?
No.
So what you just tell me one thing. as a object. When this function will return, everybody know that it will return an object of a student class, and in object you can wrap multiple values. Yes or no?
Yes.
And you can see, I'm going to call this function. I will show you that if you are interested in the returning the value roll number, if you are interested return only one value like roll number, what you will do, you will say integer, and here you will write the value s1 dot roll number. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
But if you want to return every value, you cannot return individually roll number, name, age. You can do one thing, very interesting thing you have done. Just make the return type as a data type is a student class, means object of a student class you can return, and just return the whole object here. And what will happen? Whoever will call this function, he will get the object, and at their end they will extract the value. Yes or no?
Yes.
चलिए मैं आपको ये भी करके दिखाता हूँ. Don't if you are little bit confused, let me show you. यहाँ पे क्या करते हैं? Let me call S1 का मैंने function किया. S1 से I need a function to call this get student detail. ठीक है? Now tell me, I told you that is returning a value of type student, so you can store in a student one. Yes or no?
Yes.
I have created a student, or you can say res result. Now everything will stored in the res. Yes or no? And then you can read everything from this object. So at your end, you are saying that this detail will be, you get all the res. This is also object of type student. Now you can say res dot student roll number. Then you can say student. Then you will say, what do you say? What is values you have? So you can access every value here. Yes or no?
Yes.
So you have make a trick. You can see these values are actually available in that function, but you have written all the values. How? Because instead of returning every property individually, you have created a composite data type. Actually, you will understand if you again go to the definition of class. Class की definition होती है. Class is a collection of object. And what is the mean of object? Collection of properties. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो अगर आपको अपनी क्लास से मल्टीपल प्रॉपर्टीज रिटर्न करानी है तो क्या कराओगे? यू कैन रिटर्न द होल ऑब्जेक्ट. हियर यू कैन सी मैंने किया ऐसा. यस और नो?
Yes, Pradeep, but you return a class instead of the data type. So normally,
That's why I'm saying that student class is also, every class is also a custom data type. Now tell me, maybe you have heard this thing. Two type of data type exist in this, you can say in this any language. One is called simple data type, and second is called complex data type. Yes or no? किसी को पता है? अच्छा, anybody heard has work on the XML part? किसी ने XML में काम किया? Anybody?
Not me, Pradeep.
चलिए, किसी ने भी किया है? जिसने XML काम किया, he can help me. Anybody who has worked on XML?
no.
चलिए, किसी ने XML में काम नहीं किया? Oh, as a tester. चलिए मैं आपको बताता हूँ.
नहीं किया है actually, but ज़्यादा नहीं.
चलिए, so you can help me on this only कि XML का structure बनाते कैसे? What is the purpose? First of all, what is the purpose of XML? XML का purpose होता है, oh my luck, good luck. I have already in the previous session, I take the session on APIs, so I have this one. Now tell me one thing. If you want to store the record of a student, suppose take the example. If you want to store the record of a student, tell me one thing. How you can store the structure in XML? Anybody know? Anybody know? Actually, in the structure, we follow the proper structure. One record, if you want to store, you can use the format of, this is called parent tag, and this is called child tags. So if you want to store, tell me one thing. If I want to store single value, what will be the syntax? This is one value. Yes or no? This is another value. This is another. But if you want to store the whole thing as a simple object, you created a parent tag student. Now tell me, this is also a whole tag. Yes or no?
Yes.
And in this case, in XML, this is called age is a simple data type. Simple data. ID is a simple data. But if you talk about what is the student here, complex data, the set of multiple values. Yes or no? और आप जो अपने XML में जब डेटा ट्रांसफर करते हो, whenever you use the concept of transferring data from one place to another in the APIs, आप use करते हो format. If I want to send the data of two peoples, I will create two objects in the form X. So here the age will be different. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to tell you, the data type are two. One is simple data type. One is that is made of combination of multiple data types. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
And you can compare it with your database also. When you fetch a record from the database, a particular record is, what is record? Record is a collection of multiple values, multiple attributes. Yes or no? When I'm saying I want to fetch the record of Gaurav, so you provide the ID and it return the name, age, department, employee, everything. Yes or no? So what is that record? That record is a complex data type. And when you write this thing, select name from student table or select name from employee table, you are returning only one value, name. But when you are saying select star from student or employee, star means you are returning everything. And when it is written in your, when it is, yes, when it is written in your Java or any code, jab aapko, whenever you are running JDBC, your sorry, whenever you are running your query, SQL query on your database, आपको पता नहीं होता कि star कर क्या रहा है. It is actually written everything in the form of single object. ठीक है. और वो आप अपने एंड पे, when you, how you are going to display it, आपके अपने एंड पे वो एक ऑब्जेक्ट बना के देता है. If anybody have work on the JDBC, किसी ने जावा में anybody learn the JDBC part? किसी ने JDBC में अगर अपने कॉलेज टाइम में भी कभी थोड़ा सा जावा का कोड किया, जावा हाउ यू कैन कनेक्ट विद द जावा, JDBC यूज होता था. एनीबॉडी?
हाँ, एक्चुअली कनेक्शन क्रिएट करने के लिए यूज करते
हाँ,
हैं.
राइट.
हिस्ट्री रहती थी.
राइट. अगर आपको याद हो तो उसमें आपको क्या मिलता था? देयर वाज अ ऑब्जेक्ट दैट इज कॉल्ड रिजल्ट सेट. यस और नो? और रिजल्ट सेट में क्या मिलता था? रिजल्ट सेट में then you make a loop on that while ITR has made something like that. So result set, what is that? That is a collection of all the things which you are getting from the database. Yes or no? Then in your code you extract everything separately. If you write result set dot get column name, result set dot column name, yes or no, to separate every value. चलिए, जिसने if you have not remind, so simply let me come back to here. Only the thing is that because you asked me this question that how you can return multiple, only the thing you can create your custom data type. So here you can take the student, anything you want to store, you can store it. Are you getting my point?
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like a confirmed syntax that if we are wrapping the data types, then we just need to define an object and returning the class name.
Yes, the reason is that, again, the thing is that I told you what is the definition of a class.
Yeah.
Class is a collection of object having similar property, and class object is a representation of a class. And why we say that class is an instance, object is an instance of a class, because everything which is available in the class you can use with the help of object. Object is the way to access all the things from the class. Now tell me, when you got the object, suppose res, not this one where I've result in Gaurav. So you got this thing res as a student object. Yes or no? You are not only able to get the details from a student. Other than that, you can access other things also. Tell me, are you able to access other things like prepare coffee, prepare tea function?
Yes.
So actually, when you are returning your object, whatever you are returning from the function that you are getting, at the same time, you can use same return reference, because still it is a, you have used as a data type to return something, but still it is a object. So you can access other things from that same object. Yes or no? Are you getting my point? But for the trick, for this thing that you want to return multiple values, this is the only option in the proper way. Otherwise, if you want to go for the workaround, so I will tell you so many workaround that you don't need to write this object. Getting my point?
Okay.
Okay, now let me come back. So we have learned how many functions are there. 4 type of functions are there. So you have seen that how I can create different type of function. Or now the thing is that somebody asked me what is the use of, especially use of SOP. Now think about that. The last one category left where you are giving the input. You are giving the input. You are not taking an output, but everybody is interested to see the result. So what you can do here? You can write void. And here you can write, do not write anything. Simply you can say SYSO. So at least whenever people will call it, they can see the result of C. Yes or no? It is not going to be available at their end. You can start seeing. Here it is not available here. Yes or no? When it will go to here, it will make a sum of 6 plus 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
But your function says that when the control will come, return back to it here, it
Then
will not
void.
return anything. So that's why it is giving error, that it has solved the things. It got the result 13, but it is only available within this block. It is not outside this block. That's why I'm printing the same value in the same block. I'm not returning anything. That's why. Are you getting my point? So what is the output? Always only remind one thing in your mind. Output is something like that which will be available at the place of calling. जहां से आपने कोड को कॉल किया वहीं पे आपका रिजल्ट मिल जाए, इसको आउटपुट बोलते हैं. इसको आउटपुट नहीं बोलते हैं. That you have print something on. This is called your display. Yes or no? ठीक है.
Yes.
और and whenever you are doing some modification, you have to take care what is the need. If you are passing some parameter, what is the need, and what you are doing. If you want to return something from the function, the need is that give the return type, and then you have to tell at the last line, you have to tell what value you can return, and then you can give the value, what value you want to return from this function. Is it okay? Anybody have any doubt, any question? Say yes or no.
No,
Um,
no.
Can you
Yes,
please
sir.
open the Pradeep class?
Yes, please. मेरे को motivate क्यों करना पड़ता है? You should
So-
ask everything. Okay. Chalo, tell me.
Yeah. So you made the add as a in the I actually want to ask.
Okay, I have created this function add. It is taking the parameter as well as it is returning
No.
some integer. Okay.
Actually, you don't make it like in add we are giving the two parameters and it will return the s1. But in the case in which we are not getting any output, then we are here initializing the result as an integer. Then is it a valid statement?
No, I didn't get you. I didn't get you. In case when you are writing
The
what-
case in which we are giving the inputs and not getting the outputs.
so it is an invalid thing. It is just think about that. I told you at runtime. Actually, again I'm saying that you will never be confused. Just think about that. You have written this instruction at runtime. This instruction will be converted into the actual thing. तो convert कैसे होता है? When it goes to it is instruction says that goes to the add function and whatever is done there, just do it. And if it is returning something, return something. So in your case, this it will go, it will execute everything. At last, it will come back with the value C. So this value will be replaced by 13. Yes or no?
That's fine.
Now, second thing, I understand. Second thing, let me do one thing. Let it be here. Only remove one thing. Let make it void because you are not returning anything, and remove this statement. So it's still the function is good. Still the function is good, but
yes.
Void means it is not going to return anything. You will see it start giving the error at Pradeep. Why? Because you are trying to do something at runtime. You are saying that whatever value it will get, just store in a rest variable. If you are not getting anything at right side, how you can store in a variable? Yes or no?
Yes, that's why I want to know. This is a valid
Yes.
statement.
No, simple. मैंने वही तो बोला. Don't confuse. आप simple सोचो. ये यहाँ पे जाएगा. It will go here. It will execute everything. When it come back, because it is not returning thing. So when it will come back to here, you can assume it's something like that. Nothing. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? Nothing. So tell me, if it is not written nothing, can you store nothing in a variable? No, because there is a need. If you are creating a variable res integer type, there should be something like integer. Yes or no?
Yes.
So this is the point. I hope you got it.
Yeah. Got it.
So now you will see this is the very, very important one. Is it okay? Anybody have any doubt?
So if I use the Boolean kind of value, because it's just you utilize the true false. So
Yes.
because the false.
So
then
same thing here. I told you, only stuck with the definition. Suppose take the example of here. Whenever you are returning you are doing a sum. In that case, you don't want to return the result. You want to return some value. I can give the example also, but we have not covered the topic. Let me give the example. Okay, let me give the example. Suppose take the example. Whenever somebody is passing two variable, you are not interested to give the value of the sum. You have to return a value to tell that the sum of these two numbers is 0. Oh, sorry, what we can say, the sum of these numbers is less than 0, or the sum of these numbers is greater than 0. You can take this example. Or let me tell you, I want to create a function which is going to tell you then when you are giving the two numbers, the addition is greater than 10 or less than 10. Are you getting my point?
yes.
Yes or no? So
Yes.
so the question, what is the requirement of the function? If anybody will pass two parameters, just tell me what will be, if the sum of these two numbers is greater than 10, return me yes. And if it is not written, if it is less than 10, return me no. Or
No.
so in Java, this yes or no is actually handled by Boolean. तो देखो कैसे करते हैं हम यहाँ पे see करेंगे. First of all, we know that we have to return a Boolean value. So how Boolean is defined? Boolean, and you will say Boolean variable. I will say result. Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. Or whenever this is a condition, whenever you are declaring any variable which is not a property, because property is defined within the class. But when you define any variable within the class, this is called local variable. So suppose you have defined this local variable and you're given the value true. By default, you are setting the value true. True means the value is greater than 10. Is it okay?
Okay.
Now I will do one thing. When I make a sum, I will check it here. Actually, I have not tell this topic if and else, but for your understanding, I'm telling you so that understand whatever logic you are writing, that is simply the code. If C is greater than equal to 10, if the value of calculation C is greater than equal to 10, the value of result, oh sorry, I can write less than, because by default we have a true. So if the value of C is less than 10, I will make the value of result to false. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Agar if you do not know the syntax of if, it will be really tough for you to understand, but logical part you can understand. I will make a value result, assume that by default, I assume that the value will be greater than 2. So I make the value true. But at the same time, before returning the value, I check it. If the value is less than 10, I make the variable false. Is it okay?
Okay.
And now I'm returning this value res. Now tell me, when you are returning the value res, your data type is Boolean. So your return type will be,
Should
is
be
it
good.
okay? Now you made this function according to your need, but the thing is that you should made a meaningful name. Yes or no? Check the value is greater than less. Are you getting my point? How you can handle it?
Yes.
Okay. So again, I will tell these things when we come to the if and else every part, then you will say this is very, very small thing. You can make a multiple decisions. You can multiple constant you can define. Is it okay?
Okay.
Charlie, let me come back to you. Now, the thing is that I have told you about the functions that whenever you are writing the function, you have to give the input and output. If you are not giving any input, you have to make it blank. If you want to give any, if you don't want to return any output, in that case, you have to write it void. At least you have to write, that is mandatory. Other than that, if you want to return anything, just give the data type here and the last line will be written. Is it okay?
Okay.
Chaliye.
Yes.
Now let me come back. ये आपका, now you can do one thing, just revise this thing. Now I will come to your question. Come to question. Before again coming to the question, one thing you will see, I have told you in your class, you have only two things. One is property and other is function. I told you only two things are there, right? That is true. I told you properties can be there and the functions are there. No third thing is there. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now tell me one thing. I have also shown you that whenever you are declaring a thing, when you declare any property and when you declare any function, what is the difference? In the function, you define this curly, this round bracket. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see here this thing also. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me enter. Again, I defined this void. Okay, Boolean. That's why. So let me control Z. Okay, now it is okay. Now just again, I told you one thing. When somebody is calling any function from their class, you will able to see that. Here I'm calling s1.add. So I'm calling, this is a function. How you come to know? Because this is a bracket. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now tell me one thing. Have you ever tried to think about at line number 5, when I'm writing this line of code, new student. After student also I'm using a symbol, this. Yes or no? And what is the symbol this mean? That there should be a function with the name of student. Yes or no?
Student.
Yes.
Yes.
This,
Because in last class you told us if while we are creating any class, it will also create a function of that class. So I think that's very easy.
so great. So I will tell you, same thing is happening here. Whenever you will see, whenever I am calling a function here and I press on control to see that what will happen at runtime, the control goes to the add function in the student class. Yes or no? So now we can check it here. When we click on the this student, it is a function and it is not giving error. It means there is a class where this function exists. Now let me check where this exists. Control and click. Where control is going?
The class.
Student class. So it is the thing, something like that. Now tell me, if this function do not exist in this class, this line should start giving error. Yes or no?
Definitely.
है ना? आप you can, I can prove it. आप क्या करो, add function, यहाँ से you are calling the add function, just comment it out from here. आप इससे यहाँ से comment कर दो. When you will comment it, it will start giving error because it will prove that this function is not available in the student class. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो यहाँ पे अब now the question is that अगर ये line पे error नहीं आ रही है, but if I go to the control is going to the student, तो it is a contradictory statement. What is the contradictory statement? यहाँ पे function नहीं दिख रहा है, but it is not giving. So I can see only one thing. Function is available here, but we are not able to see it. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
So now here you will see one special function will come into the picture, and that function is known as constructor. Constructor. अब constructor क्या होता है? I will tell you, and it will resolve your question, and then we'll bind them. Constructor क्या होता है? Constructor is a special type of function. Constructor भी क्या है? It is a function. The construction is also a special type of function. Only the thing is that the name of this particular function is same as the name of class. You are not able to see it. Let me do one thing for you. मैं आपके सामने इसको खुद बनाता हूं और विजुअल करता हूं ताकि आपको दिखाई दे. ठीक है, मैंने बना दिया. Are you able to see this one?
Yes.
और अब मैं आपको प्रूफ भी करता हूं कैसे. In your Pradeep class, let me do one thing. Let me remove all these things. यहाँ से remove कर दो. You will see if I'm running this code. Currently, you are not able to see when the constructor is not there. You are able to see any output here? No. Let me do one thing. I have made it intensely and I'm going to write. Yeah. Yeah, tell me.
No,
Yeah.
nothing, Pradeep.
Okay. Now you'll see. For your purpose, I made it my own and I'm going to write a code SYSO. I will not make any changes in the Pradeep class, and here I simply write something else. Now see, if again I'm going to run this code, what will happen? Just see. I will run this code. It is printing HHH. Is it printing HHH? Yes or no?
Yes.
So reason is that when I call this function, where control is going now? Tell me.
Class.
To the
Sorry, is the
constructor.
constructor.
To the
Yes,
constructor.
actually it is something like that. If I told you one thing that you have to find somebody in a room that 100% he is available, but he is in the invisible format. You cannot point directly to that person. You can only go to that room only. Yes or no?
Okay.
So same thing here. When this function was not visible, because the definition, again just see, every class by default contains a function and the name of that function is equal to the name of class, and this function is known as constructor. हर क्लास में बाय डिफॉल्ट एक फंक्शन अपने आप होता है, आप बनाओ या ना बनाओ, और वो फंक्शन का नाम वही होता है जो आपकी क्लास का नाम होता है, और इस फंक्शन को बोलते हैं कंस्ट्रक्टर. एंड नाउ व्हाट इज द पर्पस ऑफ दिस कंस्ट्रक्टर? टू क्रिएट द ऑब्जेक्ट फॉर यू that you already know. When you are saying new, it is creating the object for you. Yes or no?
Yes.
So यहाँ से आपकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होना शुरू होगी. कैसे? Now the thing is that what is the purpose of this function? जब हम ऑब्जेक्ट बनाते हैं तो what it do for you in the memory? ये क्या करता है? ध्यान से देखिएगा. ये तो मैंने I have written this code so that you can see that it is calling. But you have confidence that it is going to this particular function. Yes or no?
Yes.
ठीक है. और यू कैन चेक इट एनीवेयर. अगर मैं यहाँ से गौरव क्लास का भी एक फंक्शन बनाऊं, गौरव क्लास के अंदर देयर इज नो फंक्शन अदर देन मेन, है ना, बट आई विल मेक अ ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ गौरव क्लास. देखो गौरव का भी बनाता हूं जी. लेट मी राइट ओनली द ऑब्जेक्ट न्यू गौरव. आप देखना, it is not giving any error, और मैं यहाँ पे क्लिक करूंगा तो कंट्रोल, where कंट्रोल will go, कहाँ जा रहा है कंट्रोल?
Go to class.
But the thing is that this function is not available, this function is not visible. अगर यहाँ नहीं होता तो एरर देता, yes or no. So हम क्या करते हैं, what is the purpose, why it is invisible? Because by default it performs a activity for you and that is called constructing the object. और वो कैसे करता है आपको बताता हूँ, and it will solve one more your doubt. कैसे करता है ध्यान से देखिएगा. Same thing happen here. When you call any constructor, it goes to the function and you are not able to see, but something is written in the body. You can assume exactly not the same thing, but you can assume that something is written in the body of this function. And what is that? All the thing which I have shown you, that it creates the memory, then as, oh, sorry, not, this is something different. It creates the memory, it creates the object in the memory. Have you attended that demo session? Yes or no?
Yes.
So same thing happens. What happens that now just see what happens. I told you whenever you write this line of code, new student, it creates the object in the memory. And how create? I already told you. Let me show you again. Whenever you write this code, okay, so it actually creates the memory. It creates the memory for your object. How? First of all, what it do, it goes to this class and sees that how many properties are defined. Yes. So on the basis of what it do, first of all, it will allocate this memory for the object, and then for individual object, individual property, it creates the memory within the class. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it creates the memory for student roll number, and for student name, it is going to create the memory within the object area. Is it okay?
Yes.
है ना? So I've already tell you, but for everybody, I'm telling it again so that everybody understand. Tell me, is it okay? Now tell me, for the third, you have defined the property as a final static. So let me do one thing. For this purpose, it is going to create the memory outside the object, but in the shared location. Is it okay?
Yes.
चलिए यहाँ बना लेते हैं. And let me give. So now the thing is that when it will create the memory, because you have defined it static, it will be shared. One thing, final, it will be logged. But I told you the instruction will be completed when there is semicolon. It means before locking, it will store ABC. Is it okay?
Yes.
तो ये क्या करेगा? It will store ABC here, and after this line, it will lock it. Yes or no? Everybody
Yes.
can read it, but nobody. And same time, you have created the reference at line number S, line number 5, S1. So it will code write something like that. Yes or no? Yes or no? And it is going to point it. बताइए, everybody is clear on that? सबको clear है? Anybody who is having a doubt can tell me right now. ऐसे ही काम होगा? ठीक है, अब ऐसे काम होगा. Now after that, what we'll do? You will start allocating the memory. आप चाहो तो क्या कर सकते? You cannot make any change on it, but you can make changes on others, like here. Yes or no? चलिए ये line of code वहां पे लिख देते हैं प्रदीप में, because I'm telling from that. तो ये काम हो जाएगा. What? When it will run this line 6 and 7, what will happen? Line number 6, it will going to store the value 4. It is going to store the value at the roll number. Yes or no?
Yes.
यहाँ पे 4 सेव कर देगी, and it is going to store the value name here. Is it okay? Now it is done. In the line, you will again create second object. कैसे बनाओगे? Let me copy from here. I've already done. ठीक है. Student name के लिए you cannot write the code. Reason is that I told you that is read only. So if you try to write the code, it will give error. Yes or no?
Yes.
ठीक है. So first of all, just see, when the control will go to the line number 10, it will again create the object for you. In the same manner, it will create same, something like that. Then again, 2 boxes within the object area, and one shared. It do not try to create because already it will get it. So it will do one thing. It will what it will do? It will create a reference. Sorry, it will create a reference S2 and will point to these locations. Yes or no? Is it okay? Yes or no?
Yes.
And they can use then you can store the value S2 roll number 5 and name Prachi, and why it will go to save it this location, why it will go to this location, because it will refer to the, oh sorry, it will refer to the S2 reference. Yes or no? ये यहाँ पे क्यों सेव करेगा? क्योंकि S2 जहां पे
S2
पॉइंट
के-
कर रहा है, S2
Yes.
के रोल नंबर में इट विल गो एंड सेव इट. यस और नो?
Yes, definitely.
अब आपका आंसर देते हैं. नाउ योर आंसर इज दैट, इसी स्ट्रक्चर में जाके इफ आई विल डू वन थिंग, सबसे पहले देखना इसको यहां से हटा दो. ठीक, लेट मी रिमूव इट. इसको रिमूव करेंगे देन यू अंडरस्टैंड. इसको आपने बोला था कि हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट है, इसको फाइनल करते. चलिए फाइनल करते. जैसे ही फाइनल करेंगे आपकी एरर आनी शुरू हो जाएगी. यस और नो? हो जाएगी. एक सोल्यूशन आप क्या करते, यू स्टोर सम वैल्यू लाइक 9. आप स्टोर करते हैं. आप मुझे in my structure, can you tell me what will happen in this case? When every time object will be created, what will happen? It will store the value 9 and it will be locked. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो होगा क्या? इसका मतलब जब भी ऑब्जेक्ट बनेगा, when the object will created, हर रोल नंबर की वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगी? 9. अब हर रोल नंबर की वैल्यू 9 हो गई तो आपके लिए कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ. इट इज अ फाइनल, नोबडी कैन चेंज. एवरी स्टूडेंट हैव अ रोल नंबर 9. यस और नो?
Yes.
अभी
For
9
the-
हुई. यस, वो ये 9 क्यों हुई? रीजन बताता हूं. 9 इसलिए हुई बिकॉज व्हेन द ऑब्जेक्ट इज क्रिएटेड दिस वैल्यू इज असाइन्ड टू 9. यस और नो? एंड व्हाट इज असाइन्ड एट द टाइम ऑफ क्रिएटिंग द मेमोरी, दैट विल बी फिक्स्ड. यस और नो?
Yes.
अब आपको बताता हूं यहाँ पे कैसे इसको सॉल्व करते हैं. यहाँ पे एरर आ रही थी, बट यू कैन डू वन थिंग. इफ यू विल क्रिएट योर ओन कंस्ट्रक्टर. कैसे? ध्यान से देखना. आपने कंस्ट्रक्टर, यू हैव क्रिएटेड योर ओन कंस्ट्रक्टर. जो आपने लिखा था उसको विजिबल किया. क्यों विजिबल किया? उसका रीजन बताता हूं. इन दिस थिंग वट एवर कोड इज रिटन, अदर देन दैट यू कैन राइट योर ओन कोड हियर. यस और नो? मैंने दिखाया HSL लिख सकते हो.
Yes.
तो अब इसका बेनिफिट क्या होता है? सबसे पहले बेनिफिट देखिए. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, व्हेन आई मेक इट visible in my class by my own, this error is gone. Yes or no? Student roll number की error चली गई जो आ रही थी यहाँ पे. You should initialize some value here. Yes or no?
Yeah.
क्यों चली गई? जान के ध्यान से देखिएगा. It is very very important. Whenever the constructor was not there, everything is done by default by the constructor in the memory. आपने जब इसको visible किया, यहाँ पे बनाया, तो what Java feels at कि आपने इसकी वैल्यू यहां तो असाइन नहीं की है, लेकिन आप असाइन कहां करोगे? जब ऑब्जेक्ट बन रहा होगा. और ऑब्जेक्ट बनने की प्रोसेस कहां लिखी जाती है? इसके अंदर. दैट इज ऑलरेडी डिफाइंड. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट?
No, Pradeep.
Can you please repeat?
Just
Yeah.
see what happens that the process of creating the object, जो भी प्रोसेस मैंने बताई कि ये जो ऑब्जेक्ट मेमोरी में बनेगा, ऐसे पहला ऑब्जेक्ट, इट विल क्रिएट ऑब्जेक्ट, देन इट विल एलोकेट लोकेशन फॉर इंडिविजुअल प्रॉपर्टी, देन इट विल असाइन द वैल्यू. दिस ऑल थिंग्स बाय डिफॉल्ट वेयर इट इज रिटन इन दिस कंस्ट्रक्टर फंक्शन और बॉडी. आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? ये इसी के अंदर लिखा गया है. गेटिंग माय
Why we
पॉइंट?
are error on this constructor?
अभी मैं बताता हूं आपको. डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. अभी बताता हूं. लेकिन आप ये बात क्लियर है कि वो सब चीजें आपको कहां लिखेंगे? दे आर रिटन अंडर दिस फंक्शन. इज इट ओके?
Yeah, because you are saying this because we consider class as a function and now we are creating a visibility for a student.
यस. अब हाँ, विजिबिलिटी से क्या हुआ? ओनली द केस व्हेन यू मेक इट विजिबल फॉर योर क्लास, एक्चुअली व्हाट हैपेंस दैट this problem, when Java come to this point, it assume that maybe you have not assigned any value here at the time of declaration, but at the time of creating the object you can assign some value. Yes or no? मैंने बोला ना, ऑब्जेक्ट आपकी वैल्यू कब असाइन होती है? सारी प्रोसेस कहां चलती है? ये सारी प्रोसेस, all the process which you are able to see, like allocating some memory for object and property, this all thing is written in this constructor function. इसके अब इसका मतलब, why I'm telling you this thing, it means what happens, just see very carefully. When you are writing this code, when it execute, ये ऑब्जेक्ट कब फाइनल बन के तैयार होता है? When control will go to here, it will execute all the instruction which are written here, and the control will come back to the this place. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Yes.
आप एक चीज अगर समझ जाओ ध्यान से, इफ यू कंसीडर इट, देन यू अज्यूम एवरीथिंग. अगर आप इसके यहां लौटने से पहले कुछ भी काम कर दो तो वो क्या हो जाएगा? दैट विल बी एप्लीकेबल. और वो And what we can do, because when the control goes to here, it creates everything here to create the object and then comes back to it. इसका मतलब ऑब्जेक्ट को फाइनल यहाँ रिटर्न करने से पहले अगर आप कुछ भी काम इसके अंदर कर दो तो वो आप कर सकते हो। क्या? ध्यान से देखिए what I'm going to do. Instead,
Sorry to interrupt, Pradeep, but like in earlier concept, you told that output thing. So to get the output, we are providing input here in this.
हाँ तो मैं करने जा रहा हूँ that I'm going to do.
मतलब that concept only you are using, right?
Sorry.
Nothing.
Okay, that's one thing. Maybe actually the thing is that learning Java is, again I say, that is easy. Teaching Java is tough because every concept is related to each other. Somebody will tell me, okay, can you tell me constructor? I will ask, first of all, just go and read the functions, because constructor is a special variant of function. Somebody will say, okay, teach me a function. I will tell you, if you want to read the function, you have to first of all read the data types. Yes or no? Then you have to read. So many things is related to each other. Now just see here, I got your point. Something is that. Now tell me one thing. I'm not assigning any value here, but I can assign anywhere any value within this function. If I write it here, just see what is the output. I'm writing it 7. Is it okay? Okay, I've write it 7. Are you getting any error here? नहीं. इस प्रोग्राम को रन करते हैं. ये तो मैं नहीं लिख सकता. I cannot write because it is final. Yes or no? एक बार the control will come from this line to next line. I cannot make any changes as student roll number. I told you. ठीक है? चलिए इसको कमेंट करते हैं. लेकिन प्रिंट करके देखते हैं कि रोल नंबर की वैल्यू क्या प्रिंट हो रही है. SYSO. Just see here. I'm printing the value for S1 dot roll number. चलिए वैल्यू प्रिंट करते हैं. आप मुझे बताना what is the value of S1 roll number, and then you can tell me what is the value for S2 roll number. ठीक है? You will see. What is the value? Just tell me. Value is 7 and 7. Yes or no?
Yes.
लेकिन why I told you this thing? आप अब भी देखना मैंने क्या किया है. When the control will, in this case, when the control goes to here, it will execute for this property. It will set the value. Rest of the things, it will do whatever you are doing in the next line of your code. Yes or no? But at the time of object creating, it will set the value. Is it okay? And when the control will come back to this line of code, the value for S1 roll number will become 7. Yes or no? And in the next line, nobody can change it. Yes or no?
Yes.
And same thing will happen for this one. So only the difference is that because you are giving this value within the constructor function, it is fixed. You can make it parameterized. And another concept of constructor is that two type of constructor is that one is called default constructor and second is called parameterized constructor. Now just see what I'm going to do. Interesting. I'm going to make my constructor to take some value at the time of input. I'm going to write a roll number, or you can give any small roll number. Oh, let me write roll number. That is also okay. In short, I'm writing roll number. Okay. Now tell me what will happen. I will do one thing. Anybody will call my constructor to create the object. At that time, if you will pass some value, I'm going to set it in that the roll number. Is it okay?
Yes.
Now the benefit is that, just see, I told you, whenever anybody will call the constructor, the control will come to here. It will execute all the things here. And once the control will go back, nobody can change the object if it is final. But here the benefit is that S1 will pass the value 6. S2 will pass the value 9. Now tell me, this time these two values will be unique. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you can see after this line, if somebody S1 want to change the value, error. S2 want to change the value, error. So you have only take the advantage कि कहाँ पे काम होता है अगर ऑब्जेक्ट बनने की प्रोसेस, and this is called the place where the creation of object process takes place. If you are going to modify the things at that time, you can do anything. Yes or no? तो मैंने क्या किया? What is that place? And that place is known as constructor. Yes or no?
Yes.
And now this is the thing which is used by developer to create a unique ID. और यहाँ पे फायदा क्या हुआ? Employee ID का, why I've given you the example of employee ID or student ID. Example इसलिए दिया, whenever you are creating such type of things where you have to make your instance variable as a read only, and it should be unique for every object. What is happening? only you can pass the value when it is created. जब आपको पहले से पता ही नहीं वैल्यू क्या है. Employee ID जब employee आता है, when employee is going to join the company, then you decide the employee ID, or you will say, oh, I have put some ID and when the person will come. Because sometime what happens, the employee ID generated on the basis of that how many employee have already registered and what was the date of joining. So employee is only generated when the person joins the company. Are you getting my point? And after that, nobody can change it. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
तो यहाँ पे object, आज here you have learned very beautiful, and trust me, what people do, they do not know about this thing. और वो इंटरव्यू में क्या जवाब देते हैं, जैसे ही एरर आती है, let me remove it, जैसे ही एरर आती है वो कहते हैं अरे एरर आ रही है, what do, let me assign some value. एक तरह से आपने जानते क्या किया, you have not achieved anything but you have wasted a memory. क्या होगा इस रीजन में, everything now for every object at the time of creating the value stored 8 and it is logged. तो आपने क्या अगर यही करना था तो shared ना बना दो ताकि value तो same मिले और साथ में क्या हो, at the same time you are not going to waste the memory because in case of static it is shared. Yes or no?
Yes.
तो अगर इस सिनेरियो में देखें तो इसके डिक्लेरेशन और इसके डिक्लेरेशन में कोई भी फर्क नहीं है. Only the thing is that you are wasting memory. Yes or no?
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you want to, and trust me, you can go and ask this thing to any of your friend and just ask him that what you are going to do in this case if you want to achieve it. Only the way is constructor, parameterized constructor. You got this point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. In this way, now, अगर इसको diagram में, if you want to see in the diagram, what will happen? Just see. मैंने सिंपल से डायग्राम में क्या बनना है, ये जो प्रोसेस सारी हो रही है, द प्रोसेस व्हेन इट टेकिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ क्रिएटिंग द ऑब्जेक्ट, एवरीथिंग इट इज एलोकेटिंग, एवरीथिंग इज अंडर द कंट्रोल इन दिस बॉडी ऑफ दिस फंक्शन. इसके अंदर आप कुछ भी लिख दो, ठीक है, वट एवर. पीपल यूजली राइट द मीनिंगफुल थिंग, है ना, आप मीनिंगफुल राइट. अच्छा, इसका और क्या बेनिफिट होता है, आपका एक बेनिफिट और बताते हैं. द थिंग इज दैट सपोज टेल मी when you are going to create an object of s1, you have to write some value Gaurav. At the time of creating, you know that the value will be Gaurav. Yes or no? तो आप क्या कर रहे हो, आप इस कोड को कितनी लाइन में लिख रहे हो, 1 and 2. Yes or no?
Yes.
आप इसको जब आपको पता है कि आप गौरव उसी समय कर रहे हो, आपको करना ही है, सो व्हाई यू आर वेस्टिंग वन मोर लाइन ऑफ कोड. आप अपने इस कंस्ट्रक्टर को पैरामीटराइज बना सकते थे टू टेक द वैल्यू फॉर योर नेम आल्सो. यस और नो?
Agree.
So at the time of creating, you have to write simply one code in your constructor. That person will pass some value. Please assign it in the student name. Yes or no? In this way, you can assign multiple values at the time of creating. Now, again, I will come back to the definition of constructor. Constructor is a special type of function. The name of the function is same as the name of class, and the purpose of constructor is to create the object in the memory and initialize its properties. ये आप क्या कर रहे हो, जो वैल्यू आप यहाँ इनिशियलाइज करते थे, वो जो वैल्यू आप यहाँ इनिशियलाइज करते थे, that you are doing at the time of creation. देखो, you are going to write this code. Sorry, paste it here. यही कर रहे हो? Yes or no? Say yes or no.
Yes.
मैंने 2 पैरामीटर पास कर लिए, कोई भी लाइन लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. डोंट नीड टू राइट दिस लाइन ऑफ कोड. अब देखो, छोटा सा काम यहीं पे कर लिया मैंने. जो लाइन ऑफ कोड 2, हमने सिर्फ इतना ही किया. क्या? एट द टाइम. इट इज समथिंग लाइक दैट. बड़ा फनी एग्जांपल है. क्या है कि आपको एक यू कैन इमेजिन समथिंग लाइक दैट. आप व्हेनेवर, स्पेशली अगेन माय मोस्ट ऑफ द एग्जांपल आर रिलेटेड टू द किचन एंड गर्ल्स. तो क्या है, सपोज यू आर कुकिंग सम डिश. At the time, you can, at the time of creating, you can decide how much salt you want to add, right or wrong, है ना? You can control it. Once it is done, you cannot modify. आपको मैं बोलूं उसमें नमक कम कर दो, can you do it? No. आप उसमें ज्यादा और कर सकते हो. That is your not need. So why? So same thing is here. At the time of creating the dish, at the time of creating the object, you can modify it according to your requirement. After that, it will not be changed. So अगर आपको you want to achieve it at the time of creation, you should write code in the constructor. अब देखो मैंने ये लिखा है. You want to see that कि it is printing the information of, it is printing the information of name or not. Just see here. मैं यहाँ पे print करता हूँ. You will see. Because the thing is that only the place of storing the value is changed. After creation, it is now doing at the time of creation. Are you getting my point? What is changed? At the time of creation and after creation. Still you are getting the value? Yes or no?
Yes.
So aaj you come to know what is constructor. And why I was not telling this thing, because to understand the constructor, you have to understand the function. And when you understand the function, then I can relate the thing how final is related to it. अगर मुझे आपको final बताना होता, that's why I was saying that I am not able to tell you that time, because first of all you have to clear the concept. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
चलिए.
like using constructor means that we can like eliminate those things like adding a function and then calling thing and assigning the values.
Actually, you are only when you are creating a function to assign some value, that you can avoid, because you have created your own one, so that you can now you can create this function according to your need. You want to initialize 2 values, you want to initialize 3 values, 4, it depends on number of values. Okay, is it okay? एक और चीज मैं आपको बताऊंगा, that will also that you can define multiple constructor in your class, but again the thing is that without a particular topic polymorphism I cannot tell you. So at the time of polymorphism I will tell you that one more type of concept is in the constructor, that is called constructor overloading. वो मैं आपको उस समय बताऊंगा. Is it okay?
So Pradeep, like we created the constructor student. So if I mark it as a private, then what will happen?
Now very interesting thing. You guys are awesome. Simply the thing is that if you are making this constructor as a private, what will be the impact? That we will learn tomorrow, because the thing is that how it is related. You asked me something on the public, so now the question is what is public, what is private, and these are called access specifiers or access modifiers. तो हम सबसे पहले पढ़ेंगे access specifier और access modifiers होती क्या है. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
चलिए, लेकिन मैं आपको जब when I will leave it, so I always try to make it dramatic. कैसे dramatic करते हैं? होता है ना serials में आप क्या देखते हो? You will say when they end your episode, it is something like that somebody is trying to kill somebody. Who is that person? You are always anxious about that to see the next episode. Yes or no? तो वो that I'm going to do it today also. एक और चीज देखते हैं इसको बाइंड अप करने से पहले. सबसे पहले whenever you create any this type of constructor, you make any constructor private. जैसे आप constructor को private बनाते हो, what happens that आपका ये default constructor वहां से क्या हो जाता है? Vanish. वहां से गायब हो जाता है. ठीक है. आप now it's your responsibility to make constructor visible. अगर आपको दोनों constructor चाहिए तो ये आपको खुद बनाना पड़ेगा. यहाँ पे आपको इसलिए नहीं बनाने देगा क्योंकि where the condition is that it has final. अगर ये final नहीं होता तो it will allow you to make both the constructor. है ना? ये देखो. इसका मतलब whenever you want to create only the object, you don't want to assign the value at the time of creation. You will call this thing, and when you want to assign the value, you can call this thing. But the only problem is that अगर आपने कोई property final बना दी है, तो फिर आपको ये use ही नहीं करने देगा, because you are restricting to create the memory at the time of creation. Are you getting my point? अगर आप ये final ना बनाओ, तो आपको दो constructor allow करेगा. चलिए, एक last में finally आपको let me show you that who is going to kill the hero. And then we'll bind the session. कैसे करते हैं? कोई error कहीं नहीं आ रही है. Are you getting any error? I have written this code here. Are you able to see any error in the Pradeep class?
No.
I will show you one interesting thing. I'm doing here. If you do not know, don't see it, but only see what I'm going to do. Com org. That I will cover it tomorrow, but let me create a query city. I'm doing it here, and I will do one thing. I will create a package, one more package, com.org. Suppose PRE. So I will do one thing. What I'm going to do, currently, whenever I've created my files, Gaurav, Prachi, Pradeep, everything I created under structure. Are you able to see this default package?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me remove all these files in one package. When I've removed it, you will see one thing. This default package will be removed. Or iska, it is related to one thing. Whenever I'm left with any topic, you will see I will cover when there is a answer for that. I will give you answer. Let me remove it. Let me move it. Chali. Now the answer is that you will able to see whenever I try to create a class, you always get a message. You always get a alert message. What is happening here? I'm writing some name. Are you able to see this message? What do you
Yes.
mean? It is saying that the use of the default package is discouraged. It is saying that whenever you are creating a class, please use a package for that. Yes or no? So that's why I created a package here and move all the files. Still, you are able to see any error. Student class is here. Pradeep class is here. In the Pradeep class, I am creating the object of a student and trying to print some value. Are you able to see any error?
No.
No.
Let me do one thing. Same code. Let me copy same code in the Prachi. Same code. If it is written something else. So let me write this code. Same thing here. Let me remove it and let me paste it here. Are you able to see any? Oh, sorry. Two main functions are there. Are you able to see any error in the Prachi? Oh, one
No.
bracket is still left. One bracket is still left. Are you able to see any error in the Prachi?
No.
Same code is written in the Prachi. Same code is written in the Pradeep. No error. But let me do one thing. I will remove or replace this Prachi from this main package to another package and just tell me what will happen. I have not changed any code, but you will see if I will go and expand it here, you will see there is an error in this line. Same code is there, but anybody can tell me what error I'm getting it here?
The field student or student roll number is not visible.
So what happens? Same code. Yahi Prachi, same code is written in the Pradeep. Or now, why is the same code? When I'm putting the same file in the same package where student class is there and the Prachi class is there, when they are on the same package, there is no error. But when I am placing the Prachi in the another package, it is start giving the error that property is not visible. Yes or no?
Yes.
So
Yes.
now the answer is that because you can control the structure of your class, what you want to provide, where you want to provide, and how you want to provide. And this all thing is known as access specifier. We learn it tomorrow. Okay?
So Pradeep, they will they will also work in the same manner. They were working with methods like for
Sorry?
constructor itself. So for constructor,
Yes, yes,
like
that's
they
why I'm
will work
saying
in
that.
the same manner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Same, I'm saying that if you make it public instead of public, let me get it private. Just see, you will see the error. Now tell me, this time you are getting the error in Prachi class that you are getting, but same time you are getting in the Gaurav class at the line number
Yes.
6. Why? Because the thing is that same reason. This is a function. You make a function private, so it is not able to access everywhere. What is the condition? Private, public. What is the condition? I will tell you tomorrow. Is it okay?
Okay.
So tomorrow's
Okay.
session is going to be more interesting than the today. Today it was very, very interesting. Lots of good questions were there. I hope that I have tried to convince you. Not try to convince. I get to try to give you the right answer for that. And tomorrow the session will be more interesting. So please try to join. If it is not very, very critical. If anybody is not to join due to some reason, you can update me. Like you can see, somebody has updated me here also. You can see here. She was not able to join. So at least he told. And it was the valid reason. Maybe somebody is not well in the family. So family is first, right? But before, other than that, please do not try to skip the class. It is you can say not good for you. Okay, so not so more things. I'm going to bind the session. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Pradeep,
Thank
just
you.
you can add me into this latest batch recordings. I guess I am there, but it's for the 16th batch, which was already started. So
Okay.
I'll ping you my email. Yeah,
No, no,
you
you
can
are saying
remove
that.
me from there.
So you are saying that no, it is 16th batch. Actually, we are redefining the 16th batch. New batch we are starting today at 8:30 p.m. That is 17th batch. So I will do one thing. I will check. Your batch is 16 one. In this batch, you are not. You are in this batch.
Yes, I'm in
So
this batch.
Okay, actually what is happening here, I have taken the emails from you, but I have not added the Google Drive. Reason is that I want, when the candidates will be final, then what I do, I make a Google Drive, something like that, and provide the access of everybody to it. Are you getting my point? So what happens, you can see every recording is there. Only actually the actual recordings are only two, because first of all we started the batch at 11 a.m. we take two classes. After that we have again started same thing from previous batch. So two recordings are valid. Other you can want to see, that is the repeated one. So this is the today's the second class, right? Okay, so if you want to be in the 16 batch, just update on that your email ID I will add. Today I will just see all the emails IDs in the batch and will add. And if somebody is interested, maybe somebody is interested in the 8:30 batch that we are going to start it from today, that is 7. And you all were there when decided we are going to make a separate batch for the person from the Gulf country and some US guys, right? So we are getting that separate batch, and that is starting from, oh, that is not 70s batch. I think we have started. We have, Nitish has created a group. Yeah, this one. Are you able to see this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this batch is so 8. So in this batch, you are from the 16th batch, but this is everything is there. So batch is still 16. New batch is 17. Is it okay?
Yeah. Okay. I thought these 11 a.m. guys are going like ahead, so you will be creating a separate folder or something.
No, that we are not. We are going to create a separate batch, because that is that if needed, I'm already, you can say, very occupied, but still there is a need. I will create a batch on 11.
Not needed.
Okay. Okay, same time I will do one thing. What happens that today you have seen that most of the time what happens in, especially in my class, I try to decide that I already decide that I will cover these topics, but what happens, I'm not able to complete all the topics. Reason is that so many queries are there. And the same time what happens that this is the reason why we have created a syllabus of 5 months, that so that we can cover most of the things, but still most of the things cannot be covered. And but we have honestly defined that what we are covering. So for the things which is not covered, that's why I created a channel for that. So whenever I update anything, you can get the recording for that on that channel. So please do one thing, you can see that, and if you really like, you can subscribe it and also motivate others. Is it okay?
Yes, Pradeep.
Yeah. And soon I'm going to give you a very good recording on the GitHub, and trust me, it will be very easy for you understand. For your just glimpse purpose, I will show you that I'm working on that. And trust me, it takes so much time, but it will very easy. Trust me, in these 2 slides you will easily understand what is GitHub, and in next 30 minutes you will understand how to use it. So I'm preparing this thing and will upload on the Google Drive. Is it okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
very.
Okay. So thanks again. Anybody have any question? Otherwise, again, I'm going to repeat one thing. Thank you. Have a nice day. So everything is okay.
Yes, Pradeep.
Yes.
So finally, have a nice day. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Welcome.